Poshmark has done it again and people are going crazy over this new shipping option. Welcome back to my channel. It's Jasmine. Today's video is a quick chit chat video and I'm going to talk about the new shipping option made available in Canada. So if you haven't already heard, Poshmark Canada has kind of transitioned from using Canada Post as their main shipping company and they have switched now to Purolator. With this switch, shipping prices are now as low as $8.99 if you choose to have packages delivered to a Purolator branch, or as low as $13.49 if you choose to have Purolator delivered to your house. You can choose to use Canada Post still, but it's increased from I think $13.49 to $17.99. Now, let's start from the beginning. So Poshmark had made some sort of announcement that exciting news was coming, that new shipping options would be made available within Canada with shipping rates as low as $8.99. Now, prior to having this made live, of course, this announcement was really exciting. People were really interested in how can I get shipping rates as $8.99. We were only made known of this announcement through either a blog post or one of those banner notifications that shows up on your news feed, and that was it. Now, within the last 24 hours, this feature has now been made live and people have some words to say about it. Number one, Canada Post has over 6,000 locations all over Canada compared to Purolator has about 1,500 locations. So that's a big difference. And this is definitely affecting those that live in rural areas that may not even have a Purolator location nearby. I was reading a couple comments and most people that don't have a Purolator, they have to drive half an hour to even an hour to the closest Purolator location. Now, one thing to note is Purolator does have some drop-off locations such as convenience stores, pharmacies, and even some Staples locations as well, where you can actually drop off your Purolator packages there. You'll probably just have to call whatever location is close to you to see if they have that service for you. Another thing that I read is that Purolator doesn't ship to P.O. boxes, which is kind of strange. So if they don't, I know that a lot of people use P.O. boxes because they don't want to give out their real address. So this will definitely cause a lot of problems for those who use P.O. boxes because they won't be able to receive any packages. Now, people do have the option to use Canada Post still, but that is quite a big difference. And I'm not sure people want to pay almost $20 to have an item shipped. So like I mentioned, there is a lot of negative feedback around this new change, especially those that have problems with accessibility, those that can't ship with Purolator, and $8.99 is a great shipping flat rate price, but if those that can't have any access to Purolators, let's say a buyer chooses Purolator as their shipping option, what is that seller going to do? They'll probably have to cancel the sale because they won't be able to physically get their package to a Purolator to have that item shipped. The second most popular complaint is that there was no communication whatsoever. So as I mentioned, there was some sort of brief announcement, like either on their blog or like that banner notification, and suddenly they made this live and it was like, be free with this new announcement. The people that live in rural areas are really going to take a huge hit on their sales and their income if this is what their main source of income is, especially because they won't have access to a Purolator in order to take advantage of this new shipping option. And of course, sellers will want to choose cheaper shipping options, but if it's not even possible, then it's kind of like a slap in the face and saying, hey, your job is basically lost. So of course, because there was no sort of communication saying that this is the change that's going to happen, those that can no longer sell on Poshmark that use this platform as their main source of income will of course be left kind of stranded and hung out to dry. For those that don't want to drive out to a Purolator, there is a free pickup option, but comments that I was reading are that they don't scan your packages when they pick them up, and also there's no sort of kind of proof that you had shipped out your items. So I'm really hesitant to use this kind of service because I don't want my packages to get lost, and I really like to have that kind of receipt saying that I had dropped off my item, just in case Poshmark is never updated saying that I had shipped an item out. I have that proof saying that I had shipped out that package. The other open question is that if you choose the package pickup option, which is the cheapest one of $8.99, when does the acceptance period start? Does it start when it gets delivered to that address, or is it after the person had picked it up from the Purolator and then it starts that 3-day acceptance period? Because I'm wondering if their acceptance period is going to stretch out longer because of this, and really it's going to delay our earnings and our funds available. A couple things that I want to mention is that the label will have a lower weight, just like how the Canada Post ones do, but the weight is the same. It's 2.5 kilograms up to 5 kilograms, and the charge to upgrade your weight is the same. Another question that's kind of up in the air is that if a seller is offering free shipping on one of their items, it's kind of hard to determine what that price will be deducted from their item, if that makes sense. Like, let's say the buyer chose $17.99 shipping to have Canada Post shipped to their house, then that means that the seller who's offering free shipping will be deducted that $17.99. So it's kind of hard for the seller to determine what kind of fees should be taken away from what they're going to take home, because it's hard to determine what the buyer will choose until they actually purchase the item, if that makes sense. It wouldn't be such a big deal if the pricing wasn't as significant, but $17.99 compared to $8.99, like that's $9 that could be taken away from your funds. Now, I talked about a lot of problems that come with this new change, but I think I have a few solutions. Number one, I know that Purolator is owned by Canada Post, like they're the same company, and some people were actually able to drop off their Purolator packages to a Canada Post location. Now, if that is the case and that is universal throughout, then that will basically solve all the problems, and people will be able to have the different shipping options and the same number of locations to drop off their packages. On the other hand, there are people that have called and asked about this option, and some of their Canada Post locations don't take Purolator. So it's not consistent, and it's kind of hard to determine which locations will provide this option unless you actually call them. So it's kind of confusing in that way, and Poshmark should really kind of contact Canada Post to find out if that is a viable option. Number two, another solution would be that a seller for their own personal closet will be able to specifically choose what kind of shipping options they can provide for their own store. For example, if I don't have any Purolator stores near me, I would only choose that I can only ship through Canada Post, even though the shipping price is so much higher. Yes, it will probably affect my sales, but if somebody really wants an item from my store, they'll of course be willing to pay that shipping price and will be able to purchase it from my store, and I would be able to provide that service by dropping off my package at a Canada Post. As I mentioned before, if a person purchases through the Purolator option and I can't physically get to a Purolator, or it's not really worth it to drive an hour or more, especially with gas prices these days, I don't want to have to drive and drop off that one package just to make that sale, and it will probably end up in that sale being canceled. And now some concluding thoughts. So I personally am not affected by this change, and I actually am kind of excited for it. I'm not really sure how it's going to make out in the coming weeks or months, because I do live close to a Purolator or a Purolator drop-off location. It might be more beneficial to me. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't made any sales yet, so I don't really know how it's going to work. I haven't tested out the free pickup option as well. I might make a video afterwards if I try to test it out. Yeah, but I'm kind of skeptical having people pick up my packages at my house. I don't know if I'll try it out, but I'll keep you updated if I do. So yeah, what do you guys think about the whole new change? Let me know in the comments below. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!